So now that I have my three subtopics, I need to go in and I need to copy and paste my three subtopics on my next three slides so that I can go and find some information on each of these topics for my research. So I'm going to highlight the name of my first subtopic, lie detecting technology. I am going to go into subtopic 1, and right here in the red box where it says name of subtopic 1, I'm going to copy and paste so it says lie detecting technology. I'm going to do the same thing for subtopic 2 and 3. So now you can see I have copy and pasted the name of my three subtopics on these three slides. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my sources and I am going to try to find information about these three different subtopics that I will be able to use to learn and that I will be able to use when creating and performing my own experiment. So before I choose an article to go back into, I'm just going to go back in and look at where I wrote down what my subtopics were so that I can know exactly what I'm looking for when I go into these articles. So lie detecting technology. As I look through the big ideas that I saw in my four sources, I can see here that it talks about how to detect lies. It talks about technologies used to detect lies, technologies used to detect lies, and technology. So I think for this subtopic, I'm going to be just going through and looking for, do they talk about machines or computer programs that they use to detect if a person is lying or not? Anything other than just looking at a person. So any sort of technology that is being used to figure out if a person's lying, that's what I'm going to look at and copy and paste in here for subtopic number 1. For subtopic number 2, physical clues a lying person displays. So it talks here about body language clues. It talks here about listening clues. Over here it talks about how to detect lies, body language clues, facial expressions. So I'm going to be looking for subtopic number 2 for information about physical clues. What does a person do? What does a person say? How can I as a person look at someone and maybe tell if they're lying or not? This one is going to be super important for me, especially if I am planning on doing something as a Zoom or a video meeting. What are some things that people can be looking for? And then number 3, subtopic 3 is implications of telling lies. So if I look here, that would be, let's see, lying and its impact on work, comfort level when telling lies, when lying happens, and what kinds of situations. So I think with this subtopic number 3, I'm going to be trying to look for things like, are there certain if it talks about if there are certain situations where people tend to lie more. Are there implications, like if somebody's lying, is it going to affect their work? Is it going to affect them getting a job? How they're able to do their job? Those are all things I'm going to be looking for in subtopic number 3. So I'm just going to go back to my sources, and I'm going to start with this one, source number 4, and I'm going to click into the article, and I'm going to try to start looking for some information about those different subtopics. So here is my first source. And I'm going to go through, and as I skim and read this article, the first thing that I notice here is that it talks about, they're using data science and an online framework called ADDR to further understanding. So this is talking about a lie detecting technology, but it's not really explaining it to me. So I'm not going to add that into my research, but I feel like maybe they'll go in and explain that a little bit more later. So as I continue here, it's saying their system is on, or it's like Skype on steroids. Ooh, look at this. It says, here's how ADDR works. And then it goes through and explains it to me. I think that this is really neat. It's talking to me about a technology that's used to detect lies. Maybe it's something that I would be able to use in my research or use to help guide my research or how I'm creating my experiment. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And right now, you guys, all I'm doing is copy and pasting information. I don't need to summarize. I don't need to paraphrase quite yet. I just want to get the information there. So I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go back in to subtopic number 1, which was lie detecting technology. And this is where I'm going to paste that information. And then I'm going to format it a little bit. Okay, I formatted just so it fit better in the box. And now I have the information. And the last thing I need to do with this is I need to figure out my author and my date, because I am going to be citing all of these sources. So afterwards, I'm going to have to put the author and the date. So I need to go back into the article to find this. So a lot of times with an article, the author and the date are going to be at the top. So if I scroll all the way to the top, here, okay, I see a date. It's 2018. I just need the year, but there's no author. So if you don't see the author at the beginning, the next good place to check would be the end. So if I scroll all the way to the end of the article, oh, okay, I see right here, the author is Bob Marcotte. So Marcotte, I need the last name, Marcotte, and the year, which was 2018. So I'm going to go back into my slides, and I'm going to put the author, which was Marcotte, and the year, which was 2018. And then I see down here at the bottom, I also need a link to my sources followed by the author name and date. So all that means is that I need a copy or a link to this article. So I'm going to go back to my article. I'm going to copy the address, and then I'm just going to paste it down here. And then it says followed by name and date. So we already found that. It's Marcotte 2018. And again, I'm just going to format it a little. You guys can leave it, but I like when it fits all on one page or on one line. So I'm going to format it that way. So there's my first piece of information for subtopic 1. So now I'm going to go back into that same source. I'm just going to remind myself what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for things about lie detecting technology, physical clues a person displays if they're lying, or implications of telling lies. So I'm going to go back into the article. I'm going to continue to read. Okay. So I see down here, as I'm scanning, right here, it talks about how there's 5 kinds of smile-related faces. Honest witnesses contract their eyes, but not smile at all with their mouths. So these are all things that are going to be physical clues. And I think that these are going to be great, because if someone's watching somebody on a video, they're going to need to be watching for these kinds of things. So now I'm going to go back into subtopic number 2, which was physical clues a lying person displays, and I'm going to copy and paste that information that I found here. So now I've got that information here, and the really nice thing is that I used the same article. So I already know this information. I know that that was Marcotte 2018. And then actually I can go and I can copy and paste my link and my author from here into subtopic number 2. So now I found information for subtopic 2, posted the resource, and I'm going to go back into the same article, remembering that I'm looking for lie detecting technology, physical clues a person displays, or implications of lying. So as I continue to scan through here, it's still talking about facial expressions. Oh, okay, here, this article is talking about the airport and TSA security officers and how they might be able to use this information when interrogating a person. So here it says that there are some different things interrogators might do their job differently. It could have implications for how officers are trained based on this technology. So I think that this is a huge implication of like telling lies, or how this technology could impact how a person does their job. So I am able to, or I was able to, you guys, find information for all 3 subtopics from my same article. And that's awesome. So now you can see I copy and pasted for subtopic 3, implications, put my author and date, and then put the link to my resource down here. So again, it's really important to note that now with just this one resource, I was able to get a piece of information for all 3 of my subtopics. So make sure that every time you go into an article, you're reviewing what you're looking for and trying to find information for all 3 of those different pieces. And now I have continued the process. I have looked at all 4 of my different sources, and when I'm finished, I should have all 3 of my subtopics with at least 3 pieces of information for each, with sources cited at the bottom, and then authors and dates up here with the information.